and welcome to Attract and Convert, your foundation for marketing success. Thank you for watching. This webinar is the first installment of the Kyoki Contractor Marketing Contractor Education Series. And Kyoki Contractor Marketing is a design and marketing agency based in beautiful Sandpoint, Idaho. Our team of designers and strategists work directly with remodelers and home builders like you to construct a strong digital footprint to bring in the right leads for your business. My name is Laura Walsh. I'm the digital marketing team lead for Kyoki Contractor Marketing. On this webinar, I'll be introducing the Attract and Convert concept and discussing how it relates to your logo and website and your marketing strategy. So let's dive in. Our goal today is to help you cut through the noise of marketing your contracting business and arm you with a new perspective on how to do it successfully. What we're going to be talking about is how to think strategically about your marketing. And we're going to share our approach, but we're hoping that you can come away with ideas that you can apply yourself, either internally or with your current provider. Okay, so let's say you want to learn more about digital marketing for your contracting business. And instead of listening to this webinar, you head on over to Google and do a little research. And you start digging into the search results. If you do that, you're going to end up with a big, long list. In fact, that's what we like to call it, the big list. You've probably heard of most of the things on this list. Maybe you tried some of them with your own business, maybe you did it yourself, or maybe you hired it out. Either way, it's enough to keep a person very busy with their marketing. But we're not here to talk about just doing marketing, picking things off the list and getting busy. We're going to talk about what it takes to get results from your marketing, which brings me to our first principle of successful marketing. Successful marketing generates leads. Pretty much all the contractors that we've worked with are interested in the same end results, leads. So that's a big part of how we define our marketing success. We're trying to increase not only the number of leads, but also the quality of leads that you're getting from your marketing. So how do you go from doing marketing, pulling random tactics off our big list, to taking actions that will get not only more leads, but better leads? We need to think beyond the list. We have contractors like you who come to us wanting, of course, more leads. Maybe they're not happy with their current marketing or website provider, and they want us to get started right away just doing some marketing. Just get busy, flip that marketing switch, and get those leads coming in. And we do appreciate the enthusiasm, but ultimately, we want our clients to get results from their marketing dollars. So in these situations, we need to apply the brakes, take a step back, and look at the bigger picture, which brings us to Attract and Convert, the big picture of lead generation. Instead of thinking in terms of all the different platforms you could be on, the ads, the trade shows, all of the different tactics, that big list, let's keep in mind the end goal. It's all about turning strangers into leads. So let's talk about that journey and put our actions into the Attract and Convert framework. Here we have a flow of strangers, people who have never heard of your business, becoming visitors, people who are now aware of your business, and turning into leads, people who are now considering hiring you for a remodel or similar project. Now, let's add our Attract and Convert model to this picture. On the Attract side, we're doing things to build awareness, to get the message out. We're doing things to increase traffic, and we're always looking at the data and adjusting in order to improve targeting and become more relevant to our audience. We call this grouping of activities on the Attract side, turning strangers into visitors, our marketing strategy. On the Convert side of the funnel, we're looking to establish a sense of trust, communicate our values so that we can create emotional connections with our visitors, and to differentiate our business from the competition. Broadly speaking, we can think of these activities as our brand strategy. Or, to put it another way, Attract is about getting the right people to your site at the right time. To convert them, they have to like what they see when they get there. That brings us to our second principle of marketing success. Successful marketing is holistic. So what do I mean by that? Well, you can't just tend to one side. You need to consider your attraction and conversion strategies. Okay, so think about it this way. Attract without convert is like not cleaning up your house before your dinner party guests arrive. If you spend your efforts on the attract side, bringing people to your website, but your website looks like the digital equivalent of this coffee table, how much return on investment do you think you're going to get? On the other hand, convert without attract is like putting a baseball diamond in a cornfield. You might have some ghosts show up, but as far as I know, ghosts don't usually need remodels. So this is a situation where you have a nice website and a great portfolio, but very little traffic. You're simply not getting much exposure to people who don't already know that you exist. The point is, you have to pay attention to both sides, what it takes to attract and what it takes to convert. Which brings us to our third principle. Successful marketing puts first things first. So, what comes first? Just like these two, we're going to flip it. If we return to the idea of attract to convert, we're going to start with the activities that fall more on the convert side. We're going to talk about your brand strategy, which should be geared toward building trust, communicating values, and figuring out how you can differentiate. These activities create the foundation for your attract activities later on. So with that in mind, let's talk about your brand. Now, I want to establish something before we get any further. Your brand is not your logo. Your brand is a person's gut feeling about your product, service, or company. So it's really about how people view and perceive your company. Your identity, or brand identity, are the visual elements of your brand, such as color, design, and typography. These are the things that help people recognize your brand. And then at the center of the whole thing, we have your logo, which is the graphic element or symbol that represents your brand. So your brand is not your logo, but is central to your brand as a whole, which is why it gets a lot of attention. And we'll get more into that later. But for now, what I want to emphasize is that your brand is a feeling. It's the impression someone has when they first encounter or interact with your company. And rightly or wrongly, first impressions matter. Branding is about setting expectations. That first impression is made in an instant, subconsciously. And we want our brand's values to align with those of our intended audience. We want to make sure that the first impression is the right one. If we're in the operating room, we want to look like that guy on the left. At the motorcycle rally, shirt sleeves are most definitely optional. So how do we go about setting the right expectations with our branding? Well, we do it by asking questions. Questions like, what problems do we solve? Who do we solve them for and why? What do we stand for, or what do we value? What makes us different? So your branding is your what, your who, and your why. And once you've answered those questions, you want to reflect the answers in your marketing collateral and your client interactions. All of those touch points you have with people shape their perception of your brand and should be aligned with your brand values and purpose. Now that we have a better understanding of what branding is, I want to talk about the specific touch points through which most people will experience your brand. And that is your logo and your website. So here's the truth. Your logo and your website will play an outsized role in your marketing success. Your logo is your most widely used, you could even say ubiquitous, piece of marketing collateral, and it's on everything. Your website, your business cards, your hats, your truck, and it really sets the tone for your marketing as a whole. Your website, on the other hand, is the hub of your marketing strategy. It's where you should be sending your online traffic and making that all-important first impression. And if you're wondering what Kevin Hart's doing here, you can just think of him as a yardstick. So I want to spend the next few minutes focusing on your logo, and then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about your website. And I want to do that keeping in mind our convert guiding principle, which is that they have to like what they see. Why is your logo important within that convert framework? Your logo is your first opportunity to build trust. And it does that by communicating professionalism. We're established and we take ourselves seriously, and by connecting emotionally with our audience to communicate your company's values. So I'll show you what I mean. Take a look at this set of logos and think of a few words that come to mind. So I've put together a few here. First, we have square deal. The impression I get is, kind of engineering focused. It's cold, heavy, and serious. Next, we have Desdal. It's a little bit confusing, not entirely sure what's going on. A little bit drab, that gray in there, outdated for sure, and get an impression that they might do something with concrete. Then Lent construction. We have, it's kind of industrial, structural, a bit commercial, and the red is pretty strong in that one. Now, let's look at another set and do the same thing. First, we, with square deal here, have fresh, inspiring, integrated, and reliable. With Desdal, got contemporary, luxurious, elegant, competent. Lastly, we've got Timberstone here, craftsman, strong, earthy, and capable. The point of this is that, good or bad, your logo sends a message. These are all examples of rebrands that we've done for clients. The befores up top and the afters down below. Which set of logos communicate more professionalism, and which set communicates the values or traits that you think will resonate better with the types of clients that you want. Your logo will send a message, so you want to ask yourself if it's sending the right one for the people you are trying to reach. If you approach it with intention, you're going to get a better result. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to emphasize a couple of important key takeaways about logos. The first is that your logo is shorthand for your company's values. Through its imagery, color, typography, and even whether or not it looks professionally designed, all send a message about your company, what you do, and what you care about. Second, your logo sets the stage for how your business presents itself. Your logo is essentially the face of your company. Oftentimes, it's going to be one of the first things your potential customers see when they encounter your business, and it will influence their initial opinions, even if only subconsciously. Think of it like the cover of a book. And yes, we all know we shouldn't judge, but we have an instantaneous emotional response to visual stimuli as soon as we see it. And no one wants to argue with that baby, am I right? So now, unfortunately, our entire marketing communication strategy doesn't come down to just the logo. So to extend our book analogy a little bit further, if your logo is the cover of the book, then your website is what's printed on the pages, right? It's where you have the opportunity to build on those values that you've identified for your business and give visitors a clearer picture of who you are, what you do, and how you will make their lives better. You're not relying on that initial impression that someone might get from your logo alone. You can lay it all out there and really get into the details. So let's talk about your website. Whether you're doing digital marketing to direct traffic to your website or relying on referrals, your website is going to play a central role in their journey from stranger to lead. In fact, your website is your most important marketing asset. It's where your business lives online and the hub of your marketing activities. Because of the amount of information that you can convey to someone, it's where you have the opportunity to convince them that they should go ahead and give you a call or fill out that contact form. So remember our attract to convert framework? How could you forget? Over here on the convert side, turning visitors into leads, we're primarily concerned with establishing trust, communicating our values and differentiation, just like when we were talking about logos. But I'm going to add one more thing in here now that we're talking about websites, and that is we also need to think about providing clarity. Now that we're dealing with the website, which at its core is an informational medium, we can go a lot deeper and expand on things that we could only imply or suggest with something as concise as a logo. So going back to our website visitors, remember, they arrive with questions and it's your website's job to answer them. And these questions broadly fall into two groups. We have informational and emotional. Informational questions are outward information seeking questions like, does this contractor do basements? What's your remodeling process? What's their phone number and how can I contact them? Pretty straightforward. But while people are there on your website looking through the pages, they're also looking for answers to questions that are below the surface. Questions like, does this contractor do quality work? Will you help them solve problems when they arise? Will you show up on time and clean up when you leave? And ultimately, they're wondering if they can trust you. And then we have information-seeking questions that people ask in order to answer the question about trust. Questions like, how many years have you been in business? What does your past work look like? Do you offer a warranty? So you can see how some of these informational seeking questions are actually getting at the emotional questions around trust. So the thing about your website is that it's made of content, and the content is primarily words and pictures. And those words and pictures are going to determine how well you answer the informational and emotional questions that your site visitors have in their heads when they arrive and start looking around. So let's talk about how we get your website, specifically your content, to do a good job answering those questions. The content on your website should perform certain functions. It should be there for a reason. And we came up with something that we use to guide the content we put on important pages like a homepage or a service page along those lines. And we call it the TCEC Framework. And that stands for trust, connect, excite, and clarify. Each one of these refers to certain types of content that you would find on an individual page, like a homepage or a service page, but you can also use it to guide what types of content you should include throughout your entire website. Keeping in mind that the goal of our content is to turn visitors into leads, we'll break it down and see what type of content each piece refers to. So the first is trust. That's going to include your branding and the design of your website, making that first impression. It's going to include content like testimonials, reviews, professional affiliations, the types of things that build credibility. Now we have connect. This is the content that obviously helps you connect with your visitors. This might be information about the company history, about the team, your points of differentiation, and of course, having a clear message that communicates your values and purpose. Then excite. So this includes content like project photos in your portfolio. If you're blogging, maybe it's inspirational content. Maybe you have drone videos and your completed project or 3D renderings. We have contractors who use really great before and after photos or even plans or material lists for completed projects. Anything that's going to really get someone excited about their own home project. And then, of course, we have clarify. This includes information about your services, your process, getting in touch, maybe an FAQ. This sort of content gets into the nuts and bolts of what you do and how you do it. And there's actually one more thing that we want to add as far as content goes, and it's really getting into it's really key in getting someone across the threshold from visitor to lead, and that is call to action. We'll add an extra C to our TCEC. And that's important about that. What's important about that call to action is that all the other things come first. You really need to prove yourself and give your visitors some good reasons to choose you. You want to earn it. So let's look at an example of how we apply that TCEC framework when laying out a homepage. Here is the homepage for France Construction, a home remodeler based in San Luis Obispo. And that's, let's just work our way down the page and talk about the content that you see and how it fits the TCEC model. So the first section, the hero image and the navigation bar with the logo, is really all about establishing trust right away. We've got the big, bold heading, their nice branding, great photo. It's meant to really make that impactful first impression, since that's the portion of the website that will be visible first. Next, we have a couple of sections that are meant to connect. There's a little bit more about the contractor and then a statement about their value proposition. Your experience is our product. And then we move on to the next portion of the homepage. So we've got some inspiring images and language meant to excite the visitor about their own project. Next, we moved back to trust with a nice testimonial here. And then a section to clarify what services are being offered and provide an opportunity to get more information on that. And then finally, the last section of the homepage, we've got a section under Connect that talks about their points of differentiation. We've got a little section here under Trust that includes some logos of their preferred partners. And then finally, at the bottom, we have our call to action. And we don't want to forget that here either. So the bottom line is that your website should be inspirational, credible, and easy to use. They arrive with questions, and you want them to leave with those questions answered, and an internal dialogue along these lines. I want my home to look like that, or these guys look like they know what they're doing. And I really found what I was looking for. So if we go back and revisit our funnel with our Attract to Convert framework, now it's time to flip it around and put that horse out in front of the cart and learn how to attract those strangers and turn them into visitors. So I'd like to take a quick pause here before we dive into marketing strategy. A point that's worth coming back to is the idea that one does not simply do marketing. I mean, you could, but that would be like walking out your front door, cupping your hands around your mouth and shouting, "Does anybody need a home remodel?" The odds of your efforts reaching the right people are slim to none. There are certain fundamentals and principles that need to be understood in order to approach your marketing efforts in a way that will maximize your lead generation. No one wants to scream into the void like America's sweetheart Laura Dern here. And I'm not here to list off everything you need to include in your marketing strategy because there truly is no one size fits all. I'm here to arm you with the information you need to apply the attract and convert principles to your marketing strategy so that you can turn strangers into visitors and ultimately convert better leads. So we just walked through the foundational elements of your marketing. In order to maximize your opportunities to convert better leads, you need a strong brand and website that clearly communicates trust, professionalism, and know-how. The conversion point needs to be primed and ready to go before you can try to get the right people at the right time. Now, where the key principles to branding were professionalism and trust, principles we definitely don't want to lose in your marketing strategy, the key principles of a successful marketing strategy are attention and relevancy. So why? A relevant or right message in front of the right person at the right time in the right place is bound to get their attention. Kind of like selling water to someone changing their tire on a dystopian, sweltering road. So let's look at this in a different way. This is the attention and relevancy formula. The right person plus the right place plus the right time plus the right message equals attention. So where do we start harnessing this formula for our benefit? Let's dive into each element one by one. I would argue that the most important element is the right person. To figure out the right place, right time, right message, we need to know who we're talking to in the first place. The right person is a potential high-quality lead. They have the right budget, they're in your preferred service area, they're looking for services that you provide, and their project has a timeline that fits into your process and your schedule. The right person is your target audience. So, what information do you need in order to formulate your target audience? Really helpful information is demographic information such as age, gender, education, income, and location. We don't see many 18 to 24-year-olds buying homes and renovating them, so they might be excluded from our target market. In addition, psychographic information is hugely important. So What are their interests? Where do they spend their time online? Are they retired? Is baby number 2 on the way? The more information we have, the better. Now, here's an exercise to help you visualize your right person. This is called a customer persona. It's easy to remember the bad stuff. We all have clients that we work with and think, I wish every client was like that. Think of what exactly made them stand out like that to you. For example, last year, I had a client tell me about an experience with a couple that turned out to be a dream client. It was a husband and wife. One was an engineer and the other is a doctor at the VA hospital. So, dollar signs, of course, doesn't hurt. They understood when the electrical work ended up going up by $5,000 because they listened when he explained the issue. They were responsive, enthusiastic, and easy to work with. This type of information has helped me hone in his target audience to find more people like this couple for him to work with. So let's walk through developing a customer persona together. Visualizing this information will make it easier for you to go back to your marketing team and say, this is who I want to work with. Bring in the jobs you want if you know what the right job is. Let's say you had a client named Rita that you completed a whole home remodel for last year. Rita had a clear vision, great taste, a flexible budget. She was involved in communicating with you, but she let you take the lead. She trusted your judgment. She was low maintenance and was thrilled with the finished product. 3 cheers for people like Rita. Now, let's take a leap and look at a completely different project that was also a huge success. Let's take a look at Sam. Sam's basement transformation and project details are right here. He had a list of wants and needs. He had a flexible budget, and he understood when appliances were backordered due to supply chain issues because he was agreeable and easy to work with. Yay, Sam. Now, let's look at them side by side so you can see that these are 2 very different people with different lifestyles. Rita's right place, right time, right message is going to look completely different from Sam's. That's why it's important to understand who you're putting your message in front of. The contractor that wants to work with Rita might not want to work with Sam and vice versa, and that's completely fine. Attract the projects that are right for you. So now that you know kind of a gist of what your right person could be, we got to find them where they are. You determined that part of the reason Rita and Sam were the right fit was because they have the budget. So are you swimming where the people with the right budget are fishing? The thing is, as we talked about before, the options for swimming adds up to a very big list. All right, let's look at Sam and Rita again. Rita's online habits look very different from Sam's, so the contractor looking for more Rita's is going to want to spend their marketing efforts on social media channels, Google Ads, and local SEO. The contractor going after Sam, the Sams of the world, is going to want to have a presence on Instagram, display ads, and probably some video marketing. So let's briefly dive into a few of the key places. First off, we can't help but talk about the search engine results page. So this is an example of a Google search engine result page, or SERP, as we call them. The SERP has 3 right places where you can reach your right person. First, we have paid search results up at the top, local search results in the middle, and organic search results at the bottom. First is the paid search results section. So this is at the top of the page, and these results are placed using Google Ads. Digital marketers like me create keyword-based text ads that we then place into the ads auction with our bid and our targeting parameters, such as demographic and psychographic information. The second spot where you can show up on the first page of Google is the local search results, or the local pack. This is primarily dependent on proximity to the individual performing the search or the location included in their query. The third spot is organic search results, and it may be third on the list, but your organic ranking for high search volume keywords relating to your business can be the make or break in terms of turning your website into a lead generating machine. The SERP is very keyword focused. If you know that you're hoping to do more kitchen remodels, your keyword strategy should be to dominate the SERP for kitchen remodels. Your Google Ads will be kitchen remodel focused. Your Google business profile would be optimized for kitchen remodels, and the content on your site will be optimized for kitchen remodels. We briefly touched on Google search ads when we reviewed the SERP, but we also have the opportunity to use Google Ads or another search engine marketing tool to place display ads on the websites where your target audience spends their time. Display ads are a great opportunity to pair relevant visuals with persuasive content. Next, we have email marketing. So 91% of consumers use email. The other 9% are just some toddler who ran away with mom or dad's phone or something. I have no idea. The email inbox is one of the most intimate places on the web. Each of our inboxes are uniquely us. Email marketing is your opportunity to speak directly to your target audience in their inbox and at a time that's convenient for them. Coupled with the right messaging, email can become one of your most impactful marketing channels. I highly recommend email marketing to leads you consider lost and to clients with whom you've previously worked, maybe a couple years ago. Then, of course, we have social media. We recommend having a consistent, authentic presence on at least one social media platform, preferably a visual one. Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest are a great fit for remodeling contractors and custom home builders because you can basically use them as a social portfolio to showcase your work. And as you can see, it's also helpful to know your target audience because different cohorts spend time on different social media platforms. There's a reason I don't have TikTok or Snapchat on this list. We don't need to waste our time on platforms where your target audience does not spend their time. So we have the right people in the right place. Now it's time to determine when we hit them and with what message. Here is where I would like to introduce the digital marketing funnel because timing has everything to do with where they are within this funnel. A marketing funnel is a model that shows the way a potential customer goes from becoming aware of your brand to purchasing the goods or services you offer. This model involves several stages of customer engagement with a brand. We use marketing funnels to understand the needs of your target audience in each stage, optimize your marketing efforts, and generate better leads. Where we hit them, when we hit them, and what we hit them with are all dependent on where they are within the funnel. So let's take a look. At the top of the funnel is the first stage of the buyer's journey. They've just decided or are considering a remodel or custom home project. They're beginning to do research online, see what styles they like, estimating costs, and compiling info. Their main goal here is awareness and interest. In the middle of the funnel is the stage of the journey where the buyer is focused on education and engagement. They have visited your website after seeing one of your ads, and when you popped up as one of the results on Google search, they're poking around to see the projects you've worked on and if you're the type of contractor they would like to work with. And at this point, they might subscribe to your email newsletter or play around with informational tools you have on your website. Again, going back to informational and emotional questions, your website should provide the answers to that. So at this stage of the funnel, the main goal of the audience is consideration and intent. At the bottom of the funnel is where the lead makes a purchasing decision. The last stage is the conversion point. At the bottom of the funnel, the buyer is ready to make a move, and it's up to your website to inspire the conversion and make the conversion point easily accessible. At this point, the main goal is evaluation and purchase. So you may have noticed that the digital marketing funnel is the same basic structure of the attract and convert journey. We go from strangers to visitors to leads, top, middle, and then bottom. So that brings us to messaging, where the relevancy and attention formula all comes together and where strangers officially become visitors. So it's time to hit the right person in the right place at the right time with the right message. As you can probably already see, right time and right message go hand in hand. We want to craft our message based on where that right person is in the funnel. Crafting these messages is an art, but I have some tips to get you started that you can apply throughout the funnel. Your content needs to be relevant and persuasive in order to cut through the noise. No matter what platform you're on, you're going to have competition gunning for the attention of the same audience. That audience is looking for you to address the problem and provide a solution. Use relevant language to resonate with them and persuasive language to establish yourself as the trustworthy authority. So maybe they hate their kitchen. The remodel process overwhelms them. They don't even know where to start. Address it and provide a solution. Lastly, your message needs to be actionable. Provide a bridge to your website and guide them with the exact action you would like them to take. So click here, call now, learn more, request a consultation. Let's take a moment to look at some top of the funnel messages. These are examples of display ads as you might see them in the display network. Assume they know nothing about you. Spell it out for them with display ads. Show relevance by calling out that you provide the service they're searching for, such as quality basement finishing or Palm Desert bathroom remodels. Search ads are great for crafting compelling messaging. You can see here there's more opportunity for written content than display ads. Again, spell it out. If I'm looking to build an accessory dwelling unit and I see top Portland ADU builder and over 30 years of experience, I'm going to think that these guys probably know what they're talking about, and I'm going to want to learn more about them. A downloadable or ebook is a fantastic way to exchange your knowledge, packaged together in a downloadable PDF for something of value, such as an email address. Here, you can see these examples are offering the ultimate home remodeling guide and the ultimate guide to building an ADU. Each hold information that people at the top of the funnel are seeking in order to get started. Then you have their email address and they have your branded expertise at their fingertips. Now let's take a look at some middle of the funnel content examples. Here we have an ADU cost calculator. As I'm sure you all know, the main question our clients say their clients ask is, how much is it going to cost? And we can also attest to the fact that this is one of the most searched phrases as well on Google. The middle of the funnel is all about education and engagement. And this tool and tools like it allow for website visitors to estimate not only the cost of their project, in this case an ADU, but also the return on investment they can expect by increasing the value of their home with an ADU. A page like this is great for SEO, engagement, and conversion rates. Now, blogging. Blogging has many technical benefits, such as SEO, increasing position rank and domain authority, and getting backlinks. But it's also just a great way to position yourself as a thought leader and create content your audience is looking for. You can see here some examples are how to approach your budget for a whole house remodel and how to choose an appliance package for your remodel. All relevant and searchable topics. As I mentioned earlier, email marketing is a fantastic way to stay in touch with potential leads and lost leads. This is an example from a remodeling contractor in the Portland area. We send out a newsletter once a quarter that shows off new work, projects in progress, blog posts, and industry news. Each section, of course, links back to their website. And at the bottom of the funnel, we are ready for a conversion. This is where we circle back, where visitors become leads. Your site has been optimized to maximize conversion points, such as clicking to call, filling out a contact form, or sending an email. So we've gone through the attract and convert journey. To recap, in order to turn strangers into visitors, you need to build awareness, increase traffic, and improve relevance. In order to do so, you need to identify who your target audience is so that you can then determine where they are and when to hit them with a relevant, persuasive, and actionable message. Next, of course, you want to turn visitors into leads. Hopefully, your website and brand were designed to position you to bring in the jobs that you want. By following the TCEC Framework, trust, connect, excite, clarify, and call to action, when the right people land on your website, you're ready to make that conversion. Now that you have the full picture, let's look at this one more time. Our marketing strategy is to attract the right people in the right place at the right time with the right message. And our brand strategy is to convert those visitors by making sure that they like what they see. Our brand strategy is foundational to our marketing efforts. Without a solid brand strategy, we'll be attracting the right people to the wrong place and we'll lose that conversion opportunity. This webinar provided you with a lot of information. So here are the key takeaways that I'd like you to remember for your next marketing strategy meeting with your agency or in-house team. Attract and convert is the big picture of lead generation. Your logo sends a message. Make sure you like the message it's sending. Your website is your most important marketing asset and your 24/7 sales tool. Your strategy should be driven by attention and relevancy. The right person in the right place at the right time with the right message is sure to garner attention. And your content needs to be actionable. Bridge that gap. You might be asking, how do I start applying these principles to my marketing? And the answer to that would be assess where you are now. Our approach involves starting with first things first, as I mentioned earlier. So I recommend starting with an assessment of your most important marketing asset, your website. A domain analysis is a great way to analyze the current state of your website in terms of your domain authority, your organic and paid traffic, your keywords, your competition, and more. You can do this with your marketing provider, or you can request a domain analysis from the TCEC Contractor Marketing team. We offer a free domain analysis to all who view this webinar. So you can visit kioki.com/domain analysis for contractors to start laying the foundation for your marketing success. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email inbox@kiokicontractormarketing.com and a member of our team will be happy to help. Thank you very much for watching this webinar.